Hi everyone, Krug's here from AutomatedTrading. Let's break down what Wavebreaker Advanced is all about. Okay, so Wavebreaker Advanced is kind of like the pro level version of our OG bot, Wavebreaker. Okay, and what that means is that there are a ton more parameters that you can use and different styles of trading to suit, I guess, whatever your style of trading is. Okay, so one of my favorite trades is the breakout strategy. Okay, however, often looking at market, when I'm analyzing market conditions, a breakout strategy may not be what I would like to take. I would like to take the reversal of that breakout strategy. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you a few examples of how I use Wavebreaker Advanced, and then I'm going to dig deeper and show you the parameters and what is available for you guys as members. So you can see here I have crude oil on the chart. I've actually loaded up Wavebreaker Advanced, and I'm going to show you some parameters, but I want to do a bit of analysis like I would normally do of my, I guess, of the charts and see what's going on with price action, and then set up the bot to take the trade that I'd like it to take. So you can see here there is a fair bit of, I guess, support and resistance. So we have a nice line here of support, and we have price bouncing around a fair bit, kind of around this area. It's broken through that area. It's come up to here. But if I take a look at what time of day this is, so now we're looking at, I guess, 9:30, the market open. So what happened is crude oil market open, came down here, tested that support, bounced off it nicely, and then pushed up. Okay, so if I was going to take a breakout trade, I like to not trade that first hour of the US Open just because it's so volatile, and I like to find a trend, and I guess I've been more successful waiting and being patient. So I like to trade about 11 a.m. and go to about 1 p.m. For a lot of NQ, ES, crude oil, things like that, because I'm able to find some good trades in that particular time. However, it is really important that you backtest and you use Strategy Analyzer, use Playback, and so forth, and then also analyze what the market is doing. So if I'm busy at work, I could set this up in the morning and go, okay, this is the trade I'm looking for, set up my wave breaker, and then come back and see how it went. Okay, so what I'm looking at doing is I'm looking at taking a breakout trade, and start with a breakout trade of this particular area here. So if I look at the area, let me just draw, I guess, a nice rectangle around this. So I would like to start counting from about 9:30, okay, and I'm going to go all out to 11. All right, so you can see here there would be a nice little box formed there, and I like to call that a wave. What I would like to do is I like to trade the breakout of that wave, okay, waiting for it to come past, so maybe setting my entrance 1 tick or 2 or 3 ticks above the wave so it doesn't get these little spike outs. Okay, and then take the trade and use a balanced ratio. So I like to use maybe a 1-to-2 ratio, so risking only maybe 10 ticks of loss for crude oil and going for like a 20-tick TP. Okay, so that is what I've done today. And so let's see what this trade would look like. I'm just going to slow it down so we can see what's going on here. So let's have a look here. We started up our trade. It is now about to tick over 11 a.m. So here we go. I'm just going to pause, and you can see I've taken it from 11 a.m., taking it back 18 candles to 9:30. I formed my breaker. Okay, now I've got my buy stop one above and my sell stop one below, and then we just want to take that breakout trade. Okay, use statistics, do my back testing, know that it's got a great win percentage, using the right balanced risk to reward ratio, so that if I do take a loss, I can win that back within just one trade. I can take 2 losses for every win. Okay, I'm just gonna speed this up. And you can see price bounces around in the middle like it normally does. Usually when it finds the top and the bottom, it usually will either spike and reverse, or it will break through. That's usually what happens around breakout strategies. Okay, so I'm hoping that when it hits the bottom here, it breaks through. Okay, and statistics tells me that it generally will around this particular point in time. Okay, because after that first hour, hour and a half, you tend to find a bit of, and there you go. So what happened then was I used the trailing stop. That is one of the pro parameters. So I trailed it once it hit 10 ticks. It trailed down nicely and came down and hit my 20 tick take profit. And I was able to pocket roughly about $200 minus some commissions. So let's take a look at the parameters, what I used for that particular trade. Okay, so you can see that I have the parameters up here on the screen. I'm going to talk to you a bit more detail about these in a moment, but I just wanted to see that I had it set up from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. My candle count back was 18, entry offset was 1. I was using stop orders as my entrance style and using a trailing stop. So I was setting a 20 tick TP and I've got a 10 tick stop loss, and I trailed by the amount. So once it hit my trigger of 10 ticks, I was able to trail by 10 ticks and take my profit. So let me give you an example now of perhaps a different style of trade. Okay, so now let's take a look at a different style of trade that we can do with Wavebreaker Advanced. Okay, so in the previous example, we did the breakout trade. Often at times, it is good to kind of diversify your accounts and run different style of trades to account for different styles of the market conditions. What I'm going to do in this trade is I'm going to trade the reversal. So often price will, when it finds a particular support and resistance lines, it will just bounce off them and you can then trade the reversal using this strategy. Okay, so you can kind of see one of my other favorite trades is to look at the London Open. Okay, and you kind of see that price has been bouncing around this bottom area here. Perhaps if we draw a bit of a channel, maybe we'll just draw a horizontal line. So around this area here, there is kind of some support. Some support here. So if I draw a little line there, you can kind of see there is some resistance up the top here. So maybe I would like to draw another horizontal line up here. So if I was to trade this on a manual, if I was trading this manually, I would probably look at buying around this area and selling around this area, thinking that it's going to continue that channel, okay? And until it breaks that channel, and then you can look at trading a different style of trade. But that is what I'm going to look at, okay? So I'm going to look at the 3 a.m. open, and I'm going to look at trading the reversal of this, okay? So I have Wavebreaker set up. Let's see what it does. I'll just slow this down so we can kind of have a look at it. We're about to hit our 3 a.m. trade. And I'm going to use a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio for this because I like to be very balanced. Okay, so that I don't get blown out of the water with any losses. Okay, so speed up a tiny bit. So we hit our 3 a.m. There we go. So you can kind of see here. Oh, we'll pause it there for a second. So straight away, we had a sell order up the top here, 1 tick above, and we had a buy order down the bottom here. So we had a 10-to-10 risk to reward ratio. And you can see straight away, it bounced off the bottom and it's reversed. Okay, we are $30 in profit. Let's see what happens here. So we're hoping that price will bounce, continue up here, and take profit. Okay, the whole idea of this strategy is it likes to test those particular areas. Okay, so it is really important that you understand when these kind of conditions will arise. Okay, and I know they tend to arise at these particular points in time, as well as I like to look at my own market conditions and see if it is in a trending market or is it in a ranging market. Okay. And there we go. We have hit our take profit, and let's see what it does the other side. Is it going to test the other side? Let's just speed up and see what it does. Okay, it's only going to take your one trade at the bottom, and there we go. We are about to, we've hit it. Got to slow down a bit. It's now going in the other direction, and if that had stopped out, I'm totally comfortable with that. It means I would have been break even for the day, which is I'm totally comfortable with that, as long as you have a balanced risk to reward ratio. If I didn't, if my take profit was smaller, I'd probably be in the red for the day, but I'm not. Okay, so we're hoping for a bit of a reversal here. It kind of pushed through. Let's have a look back at some of the times. You can kind of see there is a bit of resistance up the top here, which kind of hit it, and that's just what happens with market conditions. And look, there is actually a nice fair value gap there, which is kind of filled there. It's bounced, testing it again. Now we're back in profit. So look, see what it does. So we're hoping it comes down. I could drag my stop loss down and trade this manually. Okay, this bot is controlling. I guess it's just entering your positions, but you are always in control of your trades. You can change whatever you want live. You are always in control. Okay, so obviously I want to keep my stop loss there. It's actually a really good spot. Okay, 10 ticks is a really good spot because I look back and I could see that there was some resistance. But maybe I'd like to drag it down. Maybe I could do that. Price moved too fast for me to do that. Maybe I could quickly. Oh, I didn't need to. There we go. So you saw something happen then. What happened? There was an error that popped up. An error popped up because I tried to drag my stop loss down and price had moved above it. So you can never put stop orders below price or above price depending on whether you're in the long or a short. So that is just some important information to know. But you can see, look, I came out with 2 positive trades. I'm up roughly $200 in the day based upon my take minus some commissions. And that is just one other trade that Wave Breaker Advanced can do. There are many more trades that it can do, but in the next part I'm going to talk to you a bit about the parameters to go into a bit more detail so you can see what is available to you. Okay, so let's take a look at the properties of Wave Breaker and the reasons why they're at that pro level. Okay, so we start off with our Wave Breaker indicator. So this is very typical of both Wave Breaker and Wave Breaker Advanced. Okay, you have a start time and a stop time. You need to indicate when you would like to start trading, okay, and when you would like to stop trading. Okay, from that starting point, you need to indicate also the candle count back. In other words, how many candles are you counting back in order to form that wave? Okay, and that wave is going to be that support and resistance that you'd like to either break out or reverse. Okay, in this version, you're able to have an entry offset. And what that means is you're able to change that to say 5 ticks or whatever it may be. These are in tick values, so that price, it might just punch out of that wave by a couple of ticks. But if you set it to say 5, it won't get into the trade because your buy stop and your sell stops will be at 5 ticks above or below the wave. Okay, you can also change the wave color. Okay, you can choose any color you'd like. I've obviously got my favorites. Now we have the trading parameters, and these trading parameters here are common across all our advanced bots. Okay, these here don't change. These here are, I guess, made, these parameters at the top here are made for Wave Breaker, but these trading parameters here will be common across all bots. So if you understand them for one bot, you can then apply the exact same routines and the same kind of conditions and the same kind of trades for all the bots that are advanced. Okay, so what I mean by that is all our advanced bots are going to have market entry orders, stop orders, okay, or reversals. Okay, so let's start with a stop order. Stop order is the basic, the one I showed you to start with, all right? So it's just putting a stop order 5 ticks above and below the 3 o'clock time after you counted back 12 candles. And that's what it is doing, all right? What the market one is doing is by clicking market, I then have an entry type. I could enter in a market entry once price crosses by a tick the offset. Okay, or I could wait for a confirmation candle. And what that means is it's waiting for the candle to close outside of the wave. And you can see there when I changed that to confirmation, my entry offset disappeared because I'm not looking at entry offset anymore. I'm waiting for that confirmation. Okay, so a different style of trading. Some people prefer market entries over stop orders because sometimes you may have less errors in regards to orders moving around. Then you have reversals. And these are using limit orders. And what it's doing is, like I showed you in that previous example, it's just doing the reversal. Okay. Again, it's just going to trade that 1 tick out, and then I can set my reversal for that. All right. Now let's have a look at what we have with using multiple positions. So let's go back to our stop order. Okay. So we've got an entry offset of 5. What about if I wanted to add some multiple positions? So I tick this here, and what that does is it brings up an option down here. So now I can have my first position and my second position. Okay, both of these are independent of each other. So I could have taking a take profit of 10 ticks for my first position and maybe an 80 tick take profit for my second position. Okay, I could choose, I'll show you the other options in a second, and the same with the stop loss. So they're independent. If I untick it, it's going to remove it and it won't trade that particular one there. right? Then we move to break-even stop. What break-even stop is doing, if I tick it and I remove it, it just changes it down the bottom here. It's asking you for a trigger and then an offset. And what a trigger means is once price hits that trigger, so once price hits 40 ticks above or below your entry, it will move the stop loss up 10 ticks above your entry price, okay, your average entry price, okay? So it's just moving to a break-even stop. That's nothing new that hopefully a lot of people use with your ATM strategies, okay? We also have our trailing stop, which is very popular amongst our traders. You have two options with your trailing stop. You can trail with amounts. So you saw that in my previous example. I had a 20 tick trigger and I trailed by 10 ticks. So what that means is once price hit 20 ticks, it moved the stop up to 10 ticks above or below the entry price. And then what it will do is it will trail by those 10 ticks. Sometimes that's a bit close and you do get stopped out, so you want to make sure that you have a bit of breathing room with the trail stop. Do not be too close. Okay, that's only my advice there, because if you're too close, you're going to either get stopped out or you have slippage involved and cop some errors. Okay, so you want to make sure you're not too tight with that trail stop. Okay, the other option is you can use candles. So what that means is it still has the same trigger, but this is saying look back over the last 10 candles and find the highest or the lowest point, depending if you're a long or short position. So if you're a long position, it's finding that over the last 10 candles, the lowest point of those 10 candles and moving your stop loss to that, and it will just slowly follow up your position so you end up with a profit locked in. Okay. We have a kill switch option. So what that means is once you lock in $500 of unrealized gains, it will immediately close the position and turn off the bot. Okay, and which is turn off the bot for that session. It won't turn off the bot completely. It won't disable it. It'll just turn off for that particular session, so then you can run it the next day. Why is this useful? Because sometimes you have a 50 tick TP and you're only really after $50. You can lock in that $50 straight away and shut down, or you can wait till it hits that 50 TP. But you may find that it might go 49 TP, 49 ticks, and then reverse, and you haven't locked in any profit. So using a kill switch is super powerful, especially for losses. You can limit your losses for the day, and I know a lot of people that use prop firms love to do that, so then you can set your maximum drawdown for the day and so forth, which is super handy. Okay, our life jacket code, what it means, it's just a protection. It's like a life jacket. We're all about surfing here, and if you're in the water and you're in the deep water and you are stuck, if someone throws you a life jacket, it's just saving you. And what this is doing, it's saving you from naked positions. If you have a naked position, what it will do, it will automatically shut down that position, exit it, and tell you that there was a naked position, and it will save you. Okay. You can also use days of the week. So you can trade Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. You may be asking, why is there Sundays? Well, the market does open in the USA on a Sunday afternoon, so that's why you can do it. So you can tick which days you like to trade. If you untick it, it's going to trade every single day. Okay, then we have our first position here. We have take profit and our stop loss. I'm using a manual stop loss. There is an option for this bot to use the wave as your stop loss, and then it removes that manual option. So that means that it's using that full wave as your stop loss, which in some cases can be quite big. So it's really important that you use a balanced risk to reward ratio. Okay, and everything else is on tick. You can change the label and so forth. My only advice for this bot is that you do your due diligence. You analyze when it is the best used for their market conditions and historical trades and so forth. Have a play around with it. Use Strategy Analyzer, which I'll show you in the next part what we do. And yeah, just be careful with your trail stops and things like that. Don't have too tight of trail stops and too tight of stop losses. Look at the market conditions and understand that if you're trading the NQ, anything under 20 ticks is going to cause you trouble because it can bounce around so much. Okay, if you're trading crude, 20 ticks is quite large, so maybe you can make it a bit smaller, like 10. Okay, so just use that knowledge and use it wisely. And this is a fantastic bot. We use it every day here at Ace Trading on a number of accounts, and it's made us a lot of money, and we're pretty proud of it. But let's move on to the next video. Okay, so let's show you how we use Wave Breaker Advanced here at Ace Trading. So our first step, like all our bots, is to go to Strategy Analyzer. Okay, strategy analyzer in NinjaTrader can be accurate if you know how to use it. It can be accurate if you use the right parameters. Okay, and what I'm talking about is not having too small take profit, too small of stop losses, and so forth. But also not use it as your sole bit of information. Okay, you've got to make sure that you analyze the trades and then use playback, use forward testing to optimize it further. Okay, dig deeper. You always want to dig deeper before putting anything onto real money. Okay, but let's just talk about what we do to start with. Okay, so we're going to optimize Wave Breaker. I've loaded them up already. I'm going to talk a bit about that 11 a.m. trade that I like to do. Okay, so I showed you an example of crude, and crude often will take, sometimes it will do a reversal, sometimes it will break out. I like to, I guess, diversify my accounts by using kind of both conditions. Okay, running perhaps breakout on one account and reversal on the other, so that I can one account can be successful and the other one might have a loss. But as long as I have a balanced risk to reward ratio, I'll always be in my favor. That makes sense. So if you have a larger take profit compared to stop loss, even if you have a stop loss on one account and a win on the other, you will always be in the green. Okay, that is the real key. Okay, but what we really want to look at is we would like to, obviously we want to optimize these parameters over here, but what we really want to look at is the number of trades that we're doing. We want to make sure that our profit factor is going to be reasonable. Okay, nothing out of the ordinary. We're going to make sure we include commissions, but in order to have a larger TP and a smaller stop loss, we want to make sure that our percentage is pretty good. Okay, we want a high win percentage if it's the other way around. So if we've got a larger stop loss, we want to make sure we have a super high win percentage. If we want a larger take profit than our stop loss, we're only really looking around a 60-70%, because over the time we're going to be winning overall. Okay, so I've loaded up our 11 a.m. I'm going to optimize all the way up to 4 p.m. So the trade could potentially run for that good 5 hours. Okay, I'm going to look at candle count back from 30 all the way up for 2 hours. Okay, you may be thinking that's past the open, but that's okay. I'm going to use increments of 30 minutes. So it's just going to test every 30 minutes. I'm running it on a 1 minute chart. So it's just going to go in 30. I could run every single minute, but I probably don't need to. It's just going to make my optimization too full on. I want to, I guess, limit the number of iterations that I need to do. Okay, but I still want to get the right amount of information. So I'm going to go 30-minute increments for the 2 hours. I'm going to look at reversal trades for this optimization. I could potentially look at market positions, or I could look at stop orders, but I'm just going to look at reversals. Okay, I'm not going to have multiple positions. I'm not going to look at break evens. I'm probably going to try a trailing stop. Okay, because I have that option to me, so why not trial it? I'm not going to use any kill switches. These are all things that I could look at later to improve my results, but for now I'm just going to leave it to some basics. I'm going to keep my life jacket on. All right. I'm just going to trade every single day. I'm going to, because I'm running it on NQ, okay, this is going to be an example on NQ, I want to make sure that I have a minimum of 20 ticks. 20 ticks is still quite big. It's 5 points on the NQ, but 5 points can happen super quick. Price can move super quick around that kind of morning session. So if I do anything smaller, it's probably going to get whipped out. So I want to make sure that I have a room to breathe. Okay, so I'm going to start 20 ticks for my minimum and go up to 100 ticks. I'm going to increment by 10 ticks. I could do every single one, but I don't necessarily need to do that. Keep my manual stop loss. I'm going to do 20 and 100, so see if I can find something even. All right, I don't want to have anything less than 20 ticks on a stop loss for NQ. It's just not viable. You got to give you a chance to do your trades room to breathe. And I'm going to trail by candles. Okay, so I'm going to set my trigger at 20 ticks. So once it hits 20 ticks, my trail stop will kick in, and then I'm just going to trail, see how many candles to trail back. I could increase this to 10 or whatever I want, but I just want to limit my increments. Okay, everything else is the same. I want to make sure that I'm running NQ, so I'm just going to go to futures. I'm going to go down to NQ. All right, I'm going to run 1 minute values. So everything else looks pretty good. I could do tick values, but I'll maybe do that later. That's just going to look at it in more depth. I'm just going to run the last 3 months. That's going to give me an indication whether this is going to be viable or not. And if it is viable, then I can increase the time and I can change my parameters. Okay, make sure that I include commissions, and I will see you in a moment. Okay, so we have some results that have been thrown out at us. Okay, we have a 1.73, 1.72. Pretty happy with those profit factors. Very happy with those profit factors. You may be wondering why, but anything over 1.5 I would consider to be quite successful long term. Okay, I'm looking at the profit involved. I'm looking at the start date last 3 months. It's got a reasonable win rate. Look at that. Pretty happy with that. Profit factor. Look at drawdown. Well, it could be. I could probably limit that a bit. I can modify that a bit. Average trades. Average winner. Okay. Looks like my stop loss is a bit larger than my take profit. That is okay if you have a reasonable win rate, and we do. Okay, 72%. If I was to modify that, if I was to move down a bit more, maybe what does the bottom one say? We have, still 50 and 90. So 50 and 90 seems to be the go-to. So let's see if we can make this a bit better by modifying some of these parameters and improving this 1.73. So let's open this up in a new tab. Okay, and it'll run. All right, so what we want to do here is we want to dig deeper. Okay, we have a lot of pro parameters that we can use. So these are pro level parameters. These aren't for your basic traders. Okay, these are for traders that know what they're doing. Okay, so let's have a look, see if we can improve this, and I'll show you a few examples of what I do when we optimize, and we optimize all the time. We never know what the conditions are going to be in the future, so we have to keep optimizing and keep forward testing and modifying and so forth in order to be successful. Okay, there are very few bots out there that you can just let run day in day out without modifying. Okay, so let's show you how we modify here at AcetradingTrading. So what we want to do is we want to do a bit of analysis. Okay, and you can kind of see, look, there was a bit of a period here where it kind of went up and down, it fluctuated, and then it went. Okay, we want to figure out why did it do that. Okay, and there's a couple of things that we can do here. If I was to add multiple positions, is that going to change the outcome? Potentially, it probably would give us more profits, and we can do that in the end. Perhaps I would like to add a break-even stop to lock in some profits. So if we were to look at, I guess, that drawdown, if we look at some of this gross losses, you can kind of see that for every, actually, let's just go back to our summary. And if we look down the bottom here and we look at our MAE and our MFE, okay, we can kind of see $200 is generally that drawdown period. Once it usually gets past, that's the average drawdown, then it usually if it goes past that, you're looking at that loss. So maybe you'd like to limit your losses around the $200. And what I mean by that is maybe you'd like to use break even. So once you get into a bit of profit, you can then lock in that profit using a break even stop. Okay, that's just an option. Okay, but we are kind of doing that already with our trailing stop. What are we trailing with? We are using a number of 2 candles, so we're locking in a bit of profit already. Okay, so what else can we do? Okay, what else can we do? We've talked about multiple positions, break-even stops, kill switches. We could lock in some profits with that. But let's have a look at days of the week. Okay, we go to analysis. Okay, we can look at our days of the week. Okay, what does this show us? This shows us that Wednesday is particularly not a great day for this strategy, and Friday. Okay, and think about the market. Is what happens on those particular days. Okay, is a Wednesday because we're doing reversals, is Wednesday usually like a trending day? So once it does that breakout, is price looking to move further? Whereas on a Monday and Tuesday, price hasn't really chosen its direction, so it'll hit those kind of support and resistance and bounce. Okay, so what I can do, okay, if we remember that we have a profit factor of 1.73, we'll go into analysis and we'll look at the days again. I'm going to not trade, okay, perhaps Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I only really want to trade Monday or Tuesday. Okay, and we'll run that again. So we're only trading those 2 days now. Okay, so this may be a bot that you only trade on those 2 particular days. Okay, let's go back to the summary. And look at that, we've turned a 1.73 into a 2.84. So we've limited our drawdown to $454 is the normal loss. We're getting only 22 trades and we're getting 5 losses. Okay, 2.84. That's pretty good. I'm very happy with that. Can we do anything else? Okay, we've done our days of the week. We have looked at these kind of things here. We're not really going to look at, we could probably potentially look at modifying our take profit and stop losses. Okay, but what else can we do? Well, initially we are trading for 5 hours. That may be too long. Okay, so what we can do as well is we can go to our summary and we can go down to analysis. Okay, now let's take a look at the hour of the day that we're taking our trades. Okay, and we can see it's quite successful in that first hour. Second hour, not so much, and kind of bits of dribble and drabble towards the end. So there are winning trades. I'm not saying that they're terrible trades. They are winning trades, but look, that's $283. That's still pretty good. I could probably potentially leave that. But if I really wanted this to be a super successful trade, look, there's no losses in that first hour. Okay, so maybe I'd go, okay, maybe I would like to stop this and only trade up until 12 p.m. Okay, let's run that again. So now we're only trading that first hour. How does that change does that impact our profit factor at all? 2.37. So look, it didn't actually change it too much. Okay, so ideally, look, longs are pretty good. Longs are pretty good. Short, so maybe I'd like to limit what kind of trades I would like to take. But now I'm digging down deeper and deeper, and I'm taking less trades, but they are more successful. Okay, quite a good win percentage. But to be honest, we can't predict what's going to happen in the future. So I like having a longer trading period. Maybe not. We don't really want to go 5 hours. Maybe we'll go for 2 hours or so forth. You could modify this. Yes, you might get a less profit factor, but the difference between 2.19 and 2.67 over 3 months isn't much difference. What I would want to do next is I would like to change the dates and increase the time and maybe test for 6 months, test for a year, get a good indication of how we're going, and that is what we do. Okay, but let's have a look at some of these trades. That's the next thing you want to do. You want to go to your chart and you want to have a look at what type of trades it's taking. You can see on that particular Monday there, we missed out on that reversal because if I changed that particular time, I probably would have got a nice win there. Okay, because I'm stopping here at 1 p.m. If I'd stopped at my 4 p.m., that would have been a nice win. See, by limiting time, missing out some stuff. Let's go back, see if we can find some trades. We're only trading on Mondays and Tuesdays. Here we go. So on Monday, trade right here, trade broke out. We had a decent stop loss that we were able to breathe, and it came down nicely. Okay, because on Mondays you tend to find that the market is kind of not trending; it's consolidating. Okay, it came in nicely there. So that is just what I like to do. What I would do next is I would take this to playback. I would run it in playback just to make sure my trades are pretty similar. But I know because I haven't got a small TP or a small stop loss, I know that this is going to be very accurate with my trades. Okay, if I had a really tight stop loss and a really tight take profit, I probably want to double check those results. But I know because I have quite large values that is very accurate. Okay, then I would want to set up sim accounts, run it on sim accounts. If I'm happy with those conditions after I've modified, then I'd run it live and just monitor. And then after a few weeks, do some more analysis. Okay, and that's the real key here, is to analyze your performance, analyze the bot, and use the parameters. There are so many parameters here that you can use at your disposal. We discuss these all the time in our Discord, so if you are interested in becoming an Ace Trading member, please reach out to us on our website, join our Discord, and yeah, I'll be catching you in there for some live discussions. Take it easy.